Thanks for reminding me. I always forget that. All right, we're recording now. Okay. Um, but so the problem is it gets attached to the style. So if we go to, so we're on home. If we go to vehicles, because it modified the actual DOM, the header of the public file, because it's a single page app, right? It actually will stay regardless of whether or not you actually import the CSS in this into the new file. And that's rough, right? I mean, because you want to be able to manage your styles back and forth. Um, and so the way around this is something called CSS modules. So CSS modules. They introduced this actually a while after it. Um, and there's this concept of CSS modules. And so it's actually by convention. But the idea is that you can, if you name your CSS file and then do .module.css, they're using Sass, which is a CSS precompiler. But if we just wanted to do a CSS like this, if you just call it .module.css, it will only be for that specific file, for that component. So in order to do this correctly, what we'll do is we'll rename this file to home.module.css, and then we need to import home.module.css. There we go. And then if we go to home, we can do the same thing for app, but we need to also make sure that we are importing the appropriate, so if we go to vehicles, we're still on blue, but because what we need to do is we need to make a module here. So we need to create a new file, vehicles.module.css, and we'll just do a background. We'll do a light gray. We go to vehicles. Don't make a liar out of me, come on. May have to restart it there to pick up the new. Vehicles.module.css, so that's right. I must be overriding something here. You know what I'm doing? I'm actually setting HTML, which is an overarching component. What I really should do is do this. So modules don't actually import. Oh, I know why. Modules don't actually import globally like that. So they don't actually put in a style tag. You have to reference those styles. And so within your thing. So this actually isn't going to work. I need vehicles.module.css. And I need to get it on the right path. All right, there we go. All right, so there we go. And then if we go to home, the issue is there that it still isn't changing, right? Well, the problem is we actually have to import it and specifically target HTML tags with it or JSX tags with it. And so what we can do is, looking at this, we can go in here and we can say, all right, I'm going to actually call this background. So I'm going to change that to a class, CSS class. We didn't really go over CSS and everything, but a dot is a class. If you put a hashtag in front of it, it refers to the ID of the actual HTML. So a class is good for more general abstract things. So if we're going to change this to background, what we'll say is, all right, we're going to pick the first, the overarching div here. We're going to say class is equal to styles dot background. Now, where did styles come from? Well, styles we'll say import styles from that module. And so now we can basically target each individual component here with that. And so if you're going to use module, then you have to do a style and then use it within the context of the actual component. You can do the same thing here. Change that to background. And that's actually going to change now because now it's not picking it up, right? Because we're not globally importing it anymore. So instead what we're doing is we're doing, well, we can still do midnight blue there. But what we have to do is we need to import this styles from, and then now we have to say class is equal to styles dot background. And so if we go to home, that'll be blue, right? Because we changed that. We go to vehicles, it's light gray. So let's make that really bad red, like that. So we go home, blue, vehicles, red. So does that make sense as to why you have to, like, how to do that so you can separate your styles from between pages, between single page. They're not really pages, right? It's still a single page app. You're just letting JavaScript kind of manage all of the ins and outs, and that's why actually we have that issue, right? But we use CSS modules to get around that, and it's just by convention. The pre-compiler, preprocessor in React will pick that up and manage those styles appropriately. CSS is one of those things you guys will have to pretty much do on your own. We're not going to go into the depths of CSS. I freaking hate CSS. I think it's awful. I hate it worse than JavaScript. It's so frustrating because there's a lot of legacy associated with it, and I mean, it's not really a language. It's like it's a style sheet, and so you don't really have a lot of power with it, and it's a whole deal. If you start after the boot camp and you start doing some work with our production systems, what you'll find is we actually have like theming libraries and stuff that basically is completely driven, and so you basically don't have to deal with CSS. You'll just basically use variables for styling and stuff, and you might have to do a little bit of theming, but in the end, you're just kind of adding to a theme. You're not building up an entire style sheet from the ground up, because you don't want to be stuck doing that. That's awful and tedious.
Yeah, that just seems like one of those very tedious things of
It
and
is
repetitive.
exceptionally tedious. And then when we get into React Native in a number of weeks, we don't even use style sheets. We actually use JavaScript that looks like CSS. So that's actually better because you can actually use JavaScript in order to build your themes, which is really nice. But and you can do that too, I guess, if you. There's so many like CSS. There's a thing called like what is it called? We haven't used them in so long, so I'm blanking on the name. But like, there's CSS frameworks. CSS, best. You'll hear a lot about Bootstrap. Bootstrap's a very popular CSS framework. It's a very kind of opinionated style. Bootstrap 4. If you'll know it immediately when you see it, kind of thing. And well, this is Bootstrap. If you make an effort to like notice like motifs through web design and things like that, you'll notice a lot of different trends that are really consistent. And so if you notice websites that look kind of like this, right? One thing I always look at is the button. So you see the rounded corners on the button. It's got a box shadow, a very slight box shadow, so you get a little bit of depth to it. Things like that. You also see like this line right here. Like, I don't even know if it comes through Zoom, but you can kind of see that. That's a very stylized thing. The stack here, that's a very stylized Bootstrap thing. And so you can always kind of tell, it's like, oh, they use Bootstrap. And Bootstrap is basically a very opinionated CSS framework. So it's CSS, but it's all variable driven. So you're like doing variables within CSS. It makes CSS even worse, in my opinion. But yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, you'll see a ton of Bootstrap on the web. Bootstrap's kind of going out of style nowadays. You'll see another a kind of design system is material design, material UI. Anyone know who's behind material UI? It's Google. Google's all that. So if you see if you see this type of look, and if you have an Android phone, this will be really familiar to it because that's a very material UI sort of thing. Um, so like this example, you see this kind of very opinionated thing where you have the icon and the name. You got the outset kind of cards here, very card driven. That is material UI all the way. You can usually say, oh, they use material UI frameworks for that. Um, all these different types of things. You can see the movement here, the pop up. That's a very Google Android sort of feel, right? And so that's a very clear material UI. Apple has its own design system that you'll notice if you have an iPhone, very stylized and opinionated with how the UX flows. And those are all kind of stem from CSS kind of frameworks and libraries. So it's very rare you'll see someone build up a CSS framework from ground. They usually take one and then kind of build. Pure CSS is another popular one. Very, very unopinionated. I've used it before. I don't mind it. It's very minimal, but it kind of gives you some of that more tedious stuff already. So if you're looking for one to kind of start with, maybe look at Pure as kind of a basis. But frankly, guys, if you want to be able to do this, you do have to suffer through CSS because inevitably you'll have to fix someone else. So at some point you'll have to deal with it. But they got a lot of stuff. But CSS is one of those things that everyone and their brother does it. So you can find opinions all over the place for it. So, anyways, that's I guess that's kind of CSS in a really quick nutshell. Cool. Any other questions? More questions about that?
Not about that, but I'm still having problems getting the development environment to work, specifically Docker. I can get everything else to work on Linux.
On Linux, but except for Docker. All right.
I just can't get the Docker to work. I think it must have to do with the way that the files are loaded, because I think they're just not referencing something. But
Yeah.
I'm ending up where I just can't get it to do it. So I didn't quite know what to do about that.
Sure. Can you share your screen?
Yeah, just a second. I'll start up my other. I'm gonna have to start up a different one here because I talking to you on my Windows system, and that is going to help you.
No.
So just a sec.
Sure. Let me put this this in the chat here. So if you read about that, it'll tell you all about how they do it and why they do it, that kind of thing.
One thing, BJ, real quick, is I couldn't get to the link for the YouTube video from last week.
Really?
So I don't know, because normally I get an email saying I've been added, right. So I don't know if you just missed me this week or something.
Did it the exact same way. Let me check it out just a second. YouTube is very frustrating in terms of content creators. Week 3. Did everyone else get a link to the video?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let me add you again. Justin. All right, I added you again. Tell me if you get an email for it. Yeah, your email's like third in the list, so you should get it every time. Or I just copy and paste the list of emails. So
Yeah, I got it now. So not
okay,
sure what.
it must have been a YouTube thing. Good.
Thanks, Google.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to share if you want.
All right,
Well, that
let's
was
do it.
scary.
Let's figure it out.
Okay, so share screen. All right. Hold on. Share. All right.
Bethana, I love that you have to say that you're from Canada. Like
Uh,
it's it's
the,
it's, it's my extremely long name, and it's not long enough, so I have to put Canada in parentheses.
no, it
Everyone
is
knows
because I am on these international standards call and I have to declare what country I'm from.
Oh, okay. All right.
So because I represent Canada at the International Standards
Does,
Organization.
does Canada know that you're representing them? Because they may have some words.
Oh no!
Oh,
Of course, no. I actually am a legal representative for the Standards Council of Canada.
jeez.
So
Wow.
I am I represent the government of Canada when or rather the nation of Canada. So I
Just
don't bother
apologize.
changing it.
Just apologize profusely, and I
I
think
will. I do
you'll uphold,
apologize.
you'll uphold Canada's primary role in the world.
Correct.
All
So
right.
what do you want me to do?
Let me see the error that you get.
Oh God. Um, so when I try, you want me to go through, you want me to stop sharing and try and go through this and then show you what the error is? Like just to, because I'm just going to go back through the steps for pulling down.
Well, we could. I mean, we could go back through the steps. That's cool. So pick up,
I mean,
open up a terminal, and then let's do a. Do you have a development environment? Do an LS in that. I just want to make
yeah,
sure we're not gonna. Do you already have a development environment in there?
I have a development environment that,
Let's make a new folder called just do a mkdir, and then we'll just do dev or something, some folder. Okay.
yeah,
And then cd into that, and then let's do a git clone of that development environment, um, URL that's behind your screen there.
which is
In that
this one?
Yep, that one. So click on that, and then you can just copy the URL.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
You could also hit the blue button that says clone, but it'll give you the same thing.
There's a blue button that says clone.
Behind the. Yep, there you go. It's probably
That's
behind
fine.
the. Right, and then cd into that development environment.
See,
Yeah, and then just press tab. Just cd space de tab. Do an ls. Yeah, so cd into that folder. But you should be able to just press tab and it should auto-complete.
okay.
Okay. All right, so then do can you type code space period? And that should open up VS Code, hopefully. Maybe not. If it doesn't.
Yep,
Okay.
no, it does.
All right, good. All right, so here that you can go down there to the bottom right and you'll see reopen in container.
This one?
Bottom right.
Right.
You're basically, instead of doing the command shift P.
Okay. So I could do, oops, okay, sorry.
So it looks like it's opening. You're good.
Wait,
So it's working. Well, I mean, it'll fail, right? This is where it always fails, right?
yeah, no, it does this for me.
Okay.
It sits there and thinks, and then it comes up with an error code.
Okay, then we'll look at the error code here.
This.
All right. Docker compose service dev failed. No, this is the same thing you were getting, Shwetha.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Did you solve it?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we did. Um,
I know the whole of last Tuesday me and Justin were into it, and yeah.
Well, it took, yeah, okay. So it took me I spent all weekend trying to fix it and couldn't. So you were smarter than I was because you just asked for help, whereas I just struggled with it for a while and then realized this was hopeless.
honestly, Beth Ann, you're already on Linux, so the development environment's kind of like, eh.
Yeah, no, this was, like I said, I actually went through yesterday and got the simulation to work properly. And I was working on the next one. So I can get it all to work. It's just that I have to go and manually download the programs rather than being able to pull up the development environment where everything is, which is fine.
Right.
I just wasn't sure why it was doing this, like what, because I can work around it. I just wasn't sure if there was something that was easy that but my guess is that it has to do with the way I've configured my
No,
files.
no. This has everything to do with that thing I was talking about earlier about the
Pulling the
for some reason
images.
they pulled some. I think they pulled some dependencies. Like the Ubuntu community pulled some dependencies and broke all the builds.
Ah,
If you notice there, it says service dev failed build, and the reason is because it failed on that Debian front end equal non apt get, and it's actually failing on that software properties common because it can't find it. Return to non-zero code. Now that's a pretty critical library in all the things that we do with Ubuntu, as you can imagine just by the name of it. Um,
yeah.
and so yeah, there's some issues that we got to work through. So anyways, Shwetha, I'm looking for the registry. Do you know where the registry is for pulling those images? You
Yeah,
could even,
it's in GitLab. I
yeah,
just
I'm not even quite sure where. Is it like in resources? I don't know where he put the registry.
just a second.
You might be better stepping Beth Ann through this, actually. I'm going to have to feel my way through. It's been a while since I did this.
So you just became the expert. Yay.
Okay. It's right in your under the projects. So
Can you just paste a link?
okay,
In
yeah.
Slack?
So yeah, I'll paste the links for both of them.
What I want.
One is Sumo and the other is the dev.
Oh, it's in resources?
What's one way of doing it?
You know, he sent me the link when he said he did that, and then I didn't actually pay attention to what he sent, and now I can't find it.
So it's in the
So you got one for the Docker images and the
wait a
dev.
second.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I just have to figure out how to get to it when I'm sharing my screen. So let me stop sharing for a second.
Right.
So that I can
registry.
so in the chat.
And then what did you do to change? Well, he probably has it in here, right?
Yeah. I just
Shwetha, did you put it in the chat?
in class chatter.
In
Yeah.
class chatter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I will go and okay. That says page not found for me.
Maybe do we need to add you to it? Oh, I think we need to add you to it. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, both of them say page not found.
What is what's your GitLab address again, Beth Ann? Yeah, is it Basil or?
Hold on a sec. the one that I used to,
GitLab.
the one that,
GitLab, man.
okay, just a sec.
I mean, I can look it up here too, but
That one? Sorry, it's BASCHUELKELEECH. It's that at that.
oh jeez. BASL.
Hold on. I'll put it in Slack. I'm going to put it directly to, oops, not that one. That.
So did he have a README on changing the Docker compose?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So what he asked me to do was, clone the development environment with this particular branch. I'll just post this also.
There you go, Beth Ann. You should be able to access it now.
Okay, so here.
Oh, is there another? Oh, is there a branch in the development environment? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I'll just
That'll
Slack
make it
that.
real.
Yeah. So did you get the JCard W?
Perfect. JCardW use registry. Okay. So
Got
Beth Ann, can you
it.
share your screen again?
Yep. So I got to this here from that, and
Yep.
then this wrong
Yep.
one.
You're good. So now that you have access to that, that's good. Go back to your development environment
Sure.
and just say open folder locally up there at the top. All right. Will you open up a little terminal in there?
All right.
And can you from Slack, I put a git checkout JCardW use registry. I want you to check out that branch because that's going to going to give you the perfect. And so can you look at the Docker Compose file there?
Docker
I want
compose
to
file
verify
here.
that. Yep. I want to verify that it has the right things. Nice. It does. All right. So now do a Command Shift P or a Control Shift P. You're on Linux. And then do that open folder in container. And then just press open. See if that works. So great that like the Ubuntu community decided to break the version of Ubuntu like right in the middle of our frickin' boot camp. It's like Murphy's Law.
I always find it interesting that there are some people,
Okay.
such as me, who say it's my fault.
Well, if this doesn't work, it's going to be your fault, Beth Ann. Don't worry.
Okay, well there you go.
Because I need to add you to Sumo service too. Darn it. Sorry.
Okay. So that was the other one that she had.
Yeah,
that's the second
Sumo
one.
Docker images.
Right here, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can add anyone else to this too if you guys care, but I'm not sure it matters for you. All right, now just do it again.
We
Just do it.
retry.
Yeah. All right. Hasn't quite failed yet, so that's a good sign.
Oh, good.
Okay. This was happening to me also. So
Darn it.
Justin said you can test out your access with the following. Just type in Docker pull. Then I
Type
just,
it in where?
in the command line.
You're gonna have to
Okay.
log.
So
I just Slack this also.
So do open folder locally, Beth Ann, and then open terminal.
So you can try this one if you're able to pull this image, and I'll put the other one.
Okay, so pull this image.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
copy that whole thing and do a sudo docker pull. Just type sudo and then space. Yeah, paste it.
So there's an error, access forbidden. You may have to log in.
Yeah. I
What's that?
think you have
Yeah,
to do a Docker login for the GitLab registry.
yeah,
Let me look up that.
yeah. It's Docker login registry.gitlab.com. I have the link. I have the command. I can paste that also. So yeah, did you get the login?
Yeah, so this,
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
come back to here. Oops.
yeah.
The other thing I can do is I can just make this specific one public. I think maybe I can't. It's inside of a private. All right.
Okay,
All right.
now go back and do the,
Yep. So Command Shift P, and then we'll see. Yeah, that should work now.
oh,
Yep. All right. Good.
Oh yeah. No, it's working.
You can wait for that because that'll actually just save time on our other on our poll.
okay.
It's got to do that anyways. So
So yeah, even I spent almost like 4 to 5 hours in doing all this. But then after this is done, so what I have to do is just use this Docker compose in the development environment, basically replace this Docker compose with that one, and then try to execute, right?
yeah, basically you just copy this. Actually, the only thing that changes is the image, the image name there. But let's this actually will work just fine. So do a Command Shift or a Control Shift P, Bethan, and then do that Open Remote folder again. Should work this time. Maybe. How you doing, Arif?
Yeah, I'm just working on that.
Okay, cool. Any problems yet?
No, I'm able to delete that. Yeah.
Good. Man, what the? All right.
The dev.
Pull the dev container too, I guess, with it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll just have
Okay.
to short circuit this. All right, so open folder locally. I'm gonna do the same thing you just did, but for the dev.
For the sumo.
I think she just did sumo, right? Or did she do the
Yeah,
dev?
so yeah, she has to do it for the dev.
Okay, so press up, Bethan.
Okay.
And change that sumo to dev, I think, right? Let me check it. Yep.
Yeah, dev. Yeah, just change sumo to dev. Yeah.
Okay, and
Press enter.
with the :-1 or colon
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, yeah.
Version 1. The tag.
Does this have to be done then every time, or is this just,
No, you should be good. No, you should be good because you have the base image then.
okay. She says hopefully it doesn't have to be done each time.
No, you shouldn't have to.
So Swartha, is yours working now perfectly?
I was just able to get the dev container open with this
Excellent.
yeah, YAML. So
So Control P now?
Yep, same thing. You've already pulled those things, so this should be quick if it works. Because it's really just a matter of opening it up now. Right.
yeah.
Right. It's gonna work. There you go. You're in. Look at that.
Yay. So what do I have to do next time to get this to work? Do I just have to do the git pull the development and it will just pull it down
Yep. It's
when you
well.
okay.
So, well, we are on a different branch now. Now, from this perspective, I think you should be okay because it won't try to rebuild it every time. So from here on out, you should be okay because if we do change anything to the development environment, you can switch back to the master branch. So you can do a git checkout master. That'll be fine because it won't try to rebuild those images anymore because you don't have to. Um, if you do end up having to, let me know. It's a really easy change. We basically take if you open up your Docker Compose, I'll just kind of show you that Docker Compose file. So open up the Docker Compose file, but then you're going to see that image references the sumo and the dev from the registry that we just
Right
accessed.
here and right there. Yep.
We basically change those. We replace the existing Ubuntu ones, just the base Ubuntu one that is pulled from, with those images. So it's
Okay.
relatively straightforward. But you shouldn't have to. At this point now, you should be good to go.
Okay.
And you can, git clone the folders into your current folder here, your dev folder, in your development environment, and you should be good.
Okay. Good.
Oh, so I need not have to then change my Docker Compose with these changes. It should work as is.
It should work as is. This is a stripped down one than what we typically use, but it doesn't really matter. For next week, not Thursday, but for the next week, we're going to be doing some database stuff, which is where the Docker stuff really comes in handy. That's why we're using it. We may have to do some stuff, but I will keep that in mind as I'm developing that and make sure that I give you guys directions if there's anything that changes on that and investigate that. But fortunately, since Justin built those, I will probably just update it with those with the newest ones just to make sure no one has a problem. So everyone will pull, and it may take a little bit extra time for everyone, but they won't notice that it's a totally different image than what it was before. So you guys should be okay. We'll take care of that.
That's good. Okay. I will stop sharing then.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you.
What's up, Arif?
I have some issue. I could able to delete the Catalina line,
Okay.
but I'm not able to come out of it. Let me share my screen.
Sure. And JT went through this once, so he may also be able to help. I love it when other people are able to help during office hours. This is great. I don't actually have to do anything.
No, that was I really appreciate that.
I mean, we're just in the same boat.
Yeah, but that actually is very comforting because it's nice. It's nice when you're not the only one who's having a problem. When someone else is, and especially when someone else has gone through and solved it already, you're like, oh, good. So it isn't just me that's struggling here. So that was actually great.
That's why Stack Overflow is so comforting because they
Yeah.
and then there's an exact answer for your problem.
I'm not the only idiot. That's the best feeling ever.
I did have one today that I was doing when I was trying to fix this, and it was told me to try and put -F, which means to force, and the answer was back, I really hope you know what you're doing. And I thought, no, okay, I'll stop now. We won't follow that direction after all.
And the developers put that, oh, we really hope you know what you're doing in the comments. Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't. So I'll stop now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's not it. That's definitely one you want to avoid.
Right now?
Yeah, you're probably having issues sharing your screen because you're on a new Mac and you probably need to enable the security settings for it in order to share. You have to do a command space and then open up your I think start typing privacy, security and privacy. It'll bring up your settings there, and then you should have a uh, let me see if I can pull it up to look at it. There should be a privacy tab, and then in the privacy tab, there's like a camera and microphone or something option, and you need to go and click. You need to check the box for Zoom.
I checked it already.
Okay. Did you do it while you were on here?
No, it was there earlier. Okay, do it again.
Because if you were already logged into Zoom and you did that, then you'll have to log out and then log back
Oh,
into
okay.
The other one's the screen recording.
Yeah, it may have. I may not be telling you the right one.
Yeah, there's the camera settings, and then there's screen recording as well that you have to select, I think.
I don't even have a screen recording option here.
That's because you're on that old OS.
Ah, okay. Old OS. You mean like 5 months old? Yeah, on my other Mac I have upgraded, but on this one I got so much security crap on that I have to. I'm just lazy. I don't want to have to go through and do the audits and shit you got to do. You guys will be happy to know that on Thursday I will only introduce one new concept, and it's basically an iteration on the stuff we have been doing. I'll basically be doing more of a lecture style on kind of catching up everything, formalizing a lot of the stuff, talking about REST APIs and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about, oh man, a whole new, completely different domain kind of introduction here. Not quite yet. So we're gonna give you a breather this week. Because I think we need it, one, but two, I think we need to center on get to some of the details on API design and stuff like that. Um, that's the one that I didn't do in the previous boot camps that I wish I had. So we're doing it now. We're doing it on this one. All right, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So I'm not able to come out of this one. Is there any way to do that? I deleted the Catalina thing here. You see that?
Uh-huh.
How to come out of this?
Oh, are you in a terminal? I think this is probably Vim. So if you press, can you do a Control X?
Control X, Control C. No.
I think isn't it W and EQ?
Yeah, okay, so it's Vim binding. Yeah, so you can do it. Yeah, W and EQ.
W E Q. Nope.
Uh, do it again.
Oops. Recording Q. What is that?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you can press Q if you want. No?
No. So Control
All right,
Q.
so press W and then press there it is, and then press
Type
colon.
QA, right? So okay.
Yeah, colon and then Q. And then enter. Did you not make a change?
QA. That's what I.
Oh, lowercase q, QA, and then exclamation point.
Yeah. exclamation, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, got it. Yes.
All right. Can you do a, let's, hold on just a second. Can you do I don't think it's saved. I
Oh,
think,
okay.
I think it discard. Can you do a nano? It's going to be easier for you to, because the Vim bindings are kind of tough on that. So do a nano and then edit that file again with nano as opposed to Vim.
So nano, just nano, that's it?
No, you have to nano, um, oh, that brew edit Fox. I don't.
It looks like you can grab that user local homebrew library taps,
Yeah,
that whole thing.
no, keep nano there, Arif, and copy up 4 lines. There's a path user local homebrew. You just copy and paste that. We want to modify that Ruby script. So yeah, make sure that there's a space after nano.
I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm pretty new. So
It's
I'm like
okay.
a school kid here.
All right. All right. Let's make sure that. All right, go down. To that line, just press down,
Okay.
and then do a Control K. All right, and then do a Control X, and then press
Why?
Shift Y, Shift Y,
Okay.
and then
Shift.
enter.
Enter.
No. Backspace,
Backspace.
and then enter. All right, now you're good. So Nano's going to be easier. With Vim bindings, it's awesome, but you have to spend a lot of time with it because there's all these. It's you can go do it so fast, but it ends up,
Okay.
yeah. Well, let's stick with Nano. A lot easier from an editor standpoint. All right, so now try Sumo GUI, unless you have to
So I think there's one more step I need to do after that. Is that right?
probably have to reload a bash shell or something.
Yeah.
So to do that, you'd be good to go.
So in the class chatter. So do I need to install
Yep.
Vim? Right.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you. It's working.
It came up. All right.
Yep. Oh,
Good.
yep.
Glad to hear it. All right, cool. Any other questions? Or can we call it a night? Everyone's good.
Call it a night.
I say we call it a night because we're ahead. I'm ahead. I was able to solve all the problems, or at least I'll take credit.
That's it. I don't say anything else.
I'll ask any more questions.
You know what? Actually, that
Oh,
thing didn't.
what
No. We're not gonna spend time on that. I'll try it out myself. It didn't open. I mean, as is the development environment wouldn't open in Docker container in the remote container. So I'll try changing the Docker Compose file and try it
Okay.
out.
Okay, good.
So, yeah.
And for the database stuff, I'll get with JC, and we'll make sure that we use those images he pushed up for everyone, so everyone's on those same images. And then most of you guys you won't even realize that we're pulling new images. It'll just take a little bit longer, but we'll at least use those, and you'll get the new Docker file. We'll make sure that it's all Docker Compose. We'll make sure it's all consistent on that master branch with the database containers and stuff. Cool.
Okay. We'll see you Thursday.
Yep. See you Thursday, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Yeah, good
Yeah.
night.